be presenting on the motives of the entrepreneurs that our group studied. Motivation is the driving force behind entrepreneur success and starting the venture itself. Between the 5 entrepreneurs our group studied, we could split the motivations for each into 2 groups. There's a monetary and non-monetary goals. So monetary is just profit, more market share. Non-monetary can be charitable, philanthropic ideals, or lifestyle objectives. That would be things such as being your own boss and flexible working arrangements. Melanie Perkins was a teacher at a university in Western Australia, where she experienced enormous amounts of difficulty trying to teach design students with the software available, and that is what spurred her to start Canva. She's gone on to be very successful from that, but her motivator was never, she obviously spotted a gap in the market, but it was to enhance the teaching experience for herself and the students. Aaron Krause was a serial inventor, constantly inventing things. So he has a passion for inventing, but really the driving force behind Scrub Daddy was his motivation to seek a profit, because he saw a gap in the market and he really exploited it. And that was his key motivator, whereas Perkins, it was more a non-monetary. Krause is more on the monetary side. John Foley was a high-profile executive, and he was into spin classes, him and his wife. And he couldn't find time to attend the classes that he wanted to in person because of his busy schedule. So he started Peloton, which is an at-home interactive online class. So that was his motivator. He believed strongly that it would succeed. So he obviously knew there was financial potential in it. So he was motivated, sort of a hybrid between both. Kabir Biswas. This is the more traditional sort of, when we think of an entrepreneur seeking profit, this is the more traditional backstory. He basically saw just how bad the traffic was in India for deliveries, and to save people time, he knew that his bike courier service, the sort of sharing platform, would be successful, and he can pretty much deliver anything within an hour in where it operates over there. So he saw the gap in the market and he's exploited it really well. There was no sort of passion for bike riding or anything that got him into it. Rita Sellers was she's in cosmetics. Her main motivation for starting the pH Factor was she did realize that the market was sort of, it had poor products and unhealthy products. So her driving factor was she saw that the community needed something healthier to use. And that was a good product, and that was her main drive to start her company. So we can see, taking both a high-level view and an in-depth view of each entrepreneur, there's the consistent theme is that there's usually a mix between monetary and non-monetary motivators, and usually, even if the person such as Biswas, he wasn't motivated sort of by any charitable idea or passion for what he was doing, that has positive externalities where people can get what they want quickly, and it saves people a lot of stress and time.
And today I'll be talking about how our entrepreneurs started their businesses. First of all, there are a million different methods and reasons for startups, but they all typically start with an individual or group of people with similar interests who are looking for more, or, as E. McFadden describes it, the missing link. This method is otherwise known as identifying the gap in the market. A gap in the market is a theoretical section or area where businesses are not adequately fulfilling the desired need for consumers, and hence an opportunity for a new business idea or product is created. The practice of this concept is perfectly displayed through the close study of our multiple entrepreneurs, particularly seen through the similarities and differences of their experiences that have allowed them to start and successfully grow their organizations. For the likes of entrepreneurs such as Melania Perkins and her startup Canva, the idea originated from her personal experience with previous alternatives available on the market. She stated that she found previous systems to be complex and intricate, and otherwise just plain hard to use, and thus creating the need for a simplified, user-friendly system. Through keen focus and determination, coincided with rigorous trial and error testing, her business idea became a success, as today it has millions of users around the world. In a much similar fashion, entrepreneurs Rita Sellers and John Foley found their industry markets were saturated with high-priced, inferior products. and through their own personal experiences, identified the desperate need for new and improved products in the market. As for sellers, she found the beauty and cosmetics industry had lost their customer-oriented focus and failed to uphold the expectations of the changing demand in the market. Through her clear knowledge gained from previous career experience, copious amounts of research at trade expeditions, and sheer desire, she was able to develop and start manufacturing affordable products that specifically meet consumer demand. John Foley had relatable experiences with high-priced, inadequate at-home workouts through a similar process was able to develop and sell his own superior products to a large demographic of customers. Beyond product development and progression, entrepreneurs such as Aaron Krause and Kabir Biswal found products from their startup were entirely absent in the market. Biswal started his organization on the profound desire for efficiency. However, it turned out his struggle was common turmoil amongst the wider community. His integration of door-to-door delivery flourished before it even truly began, as individuals began begging for the service to be made available to them. Likewise, Krause had stumbled onto a revolutionary idea through his own struggle of hard work. Through a previous business campaign, Krause was able to identify the absence of quality products required to perform his work. The iconic car buffing pads provide a unique attractiveness to customers through unparalleled material and cleaning ability. And if that doesn't work, the amusing, catchy name Scrub Daddy provides a very profitable selling characteristic. The viability of an organization can be drawn to the foundation of how did the entrepreneur start their business? And the most common interpretation of this is accredited to their ability to identify the gap in the market. Whether it be inferior products or no products available at all, being able to identify the missing link allows an entrepreneur to seize their opportunity.
I'll be discussing personality characteristics such as creativity and innovation. I'll be discussing this through the 5 entrepreneurs and talking about the similarities and differences they faced between all their business ventures. Brown identifies entrepreneurs as idea and action driven, especially when confronting opportunities. Now, when we talk about Aaron Carews, he possessed cognitive factors such as creativity, which facilitated his innovation and ability to identify a gap in the market. Now, this also portrays the effects of an action-driven personality, as creativity became a driving force towards Aaron's success. Now, in contrast, Melanie Perkins is referred to as unconventional thinker with unorthodox methods. Perkins utilized openness to facilitate her innovation and idea, which is reinforced through personality theory and the big 5 factors. Hence, this is where you draw the fine line between Aaron and Melanie. Openness and innovation were able to work hand in hand when she was confronted with challenges. Her dedication and commitment were the source of her success in comparison to Carews, who had cultivated endurance and determination when presenting his idea on Shark Tank. Similarly, John Foley now presented perseverance and endurance as he had faced rejection countless times from financial backers and venture capitalists, whereas Rita Sellers had been driven by personal use and critiquing other products in order to understand the markets. Now, from this, we can see creativity had not been a crucial characteristic for Rita. Instead, she portrayed eagerness through wanting to develop products that catered for each individual. Rita Sellers' personality is reflected in Barron 2006, which states changes and trends foster a connection between cognitive factors and one's past experiences. Now, this is reinforced through her motivation, as it had been to innovate better and improve products. This was also deprived from her past experiences as a result of her personal use being a catalyst. Additionally, past experiences have been utilized as a tool for the entrepreneur Kabir Biswas, as he was successfully deprived from his hobby and his past experiences. Hence, by just delivering documents to his neighbors, Kabir identified a market and had been able to creatively cultivate his business venture known as Dunzo. This innovation became a success by creatively fostering new ideas based off mundane tasks. Now, to conclude, the evidence suggests characteristics of an entrepreneur differ in accordance to the individual. As we can see, Aaron Carews and Millen Perkins reflect the significance of creativity and innovation throughout their successful business venture, as well as Kabir. While Rita Sellers' personality characteristics focused on selflessness when wanting to produce products that will suit all the needs of the market. And John Foley depicted the importance of innovation through endurance and consistency. Now, these traits are definitely needed when starting a new business venture in order to succeed.
I will now be looking through the lens of the big 5 factors, and more specifically, each entrepreneur's openness and extroversion. Openness is the ability to be creative, imaginative, open to new ideas and experiences, and the ability to adapt to diverse situations. Aaron Krause and John Foley, as defined by Savannah, have a high creative drive. In turn, they embrace new ideas and experiences and adapt these into marketable products. This is where Peloton and Scrub Daddy were born and can be said to be the product in part of this high degree of openness. This is contrasted to Melanie Perkins, Rita Sellers, and Kabir Biswas. It has been mentioned that they have a high degree of market knowledge and experience, and in some cases have tested their ideas and products within the market. Now, their lower degree of openness is not showing that they have a lack of creativeness or a lack of imaginativeness. Rather, it is just that they have adapted to the conditions and environment that they were operating within. Extroversion represents an individual's sociability and expressiveness. Perkins and Foley, who are behind the successful businesses of Canva and Scrub Daddy, enjoy meeting new people, have a strong circle of friends, business partners, and acquaintances, and are energized by being around others. This is shown through their networking capabilities. We had Foley, who was on Shark Tank, and Perkins, who went to the Silicon Valley and ongoingly promoted herself and her brand. This is a critical part of a competitive advantage and undoubtedly shows their desire for business and social interaction. This is contrasted to Krause and Biswas. Whilst they networked, they didn't show as much expressiveness and drive behind it. Now, while we can say this may be due to complacency, it could also be due to their personality and that they have a more individualistic drive as an entrepreneur. And then this is finally contrasted to Rita Sellers, who had a low level of extroversion. Quite simply, she is an introvert and she has a more individualized approach to entrepreneurship and values being more individualistic in the market. In turn, this can be shown through her philanthropic actions.
Yeah, and I'll be speaking about the personality characteristics which help an entrepreneur to overcome challenges. All new startups face a lot of challenges, and so did our chosen entrepreneurs when they start their own businesses. The only thing that's constant throughout a company's journey is there will always be a new challenge that needs to be overcome. It is evident that 55% of businesses fail within their first 3 years, so the entrepreneur needs to analyze the good and bad of the business and find a way to preserve it. Determination. Melanie Perkins believes determination and a strong support system is the secret weapon for success for Canva. For Canva, it meant refining the pitch deck over and over again, refining the strategy, pouring all of the energy into building a great company. She believed that if she really worked hard and put her mind into something, she could achieve anything in life. Maybe not in the first try, but by the 100th. She understood the concept of determination at a really young age, and this is what led to the success of her company. She also believed people with an internal locus of control can control the outcome of events in their lives, whereas people with an external locus of control believe they can't. Internal locus of control, along with openness and consciousness, helped Melanie Perkins overcome the challenge of building a successful brand. Enthusiasm. If you don't believe in your idea, no one will. Having and even more importantly, maintaining your enthusiasm for your ideas is a must. John Foley believes people who approach ambiguity with excitement are the folks who end up building a successful company like Peloton. Foley had a can-do attitude which helped Peloton become a successful business venture. Here's a famous quote by John Foley. The avalanches start with a pebble. Focus. Firstly, the most important thing to do is not lose sight of what's really important. It's easy to lose focus and start doubting your mission as an entrepreneur. Rita Sellers was motivated and goal-oriented towards helping the community. Rita's previous experience and her drive to create a better product for the people led to the success of PH. Composure, persistence, and endurance. Things will go wrong. Developing the ability to weather storms calmly and without overreacting will serve you throughout your life. If entrepreneurs lose their cool, they lose everything. Aaron Cruz faced difficulties when entering the retail market. Sales remained low as he lacked brand awareness due to unfamiliarity with the brand among consumers. Scrub Daddy was also faced with economic forces known as Black Monday, which had been a financial crisis within the United States. A crash in the stock market. However, Aaron's persistence and endurance drove him to appear on a television, which had been the best decision for the company. Aaron lived by a take a chance and act on it, which reinforces his ability to take risks and adapt to challenges without any doubt. Urgency. If you do not have a sense of urgency, you will never get anything done. If you try hard enough, you will always be able to think of a reason why you can't. Instead, think less and do more. Kabir Viswas continuously works on improving the efficiency of his business and asks himself and employs the question that how can we perform a task better or faster? He believes if you're not pushing, your business will suffer and you will become discouraged as a result. He especially emphasizes teamwork over individualism.